It's your boy Carter on Cam, back with another video. So this is a video that I've been wanting to make for a while. After spending about a month in Buenos Aires, I've now gathered enough information to make this video. So in this, I'll be discussing my experience dating in Argentina, Buenos Aires specifically, as a Black American man, what my process is, what my results have been, and everything that I've learned about Argentine women. So first I want to talk about my reasons for coming to Argentina in the first place. So I've been traveling for like 10 years now. Argentina is my 28th country that I've been to, and about a year and a half ago I decided to start recording my experiences. But I decided I don't want to just make the same videos that everybody else does. So after doing some research, I started to realize that there is not that much information out there about dating in Argentina specifically, especially from a Black dude. All right, so first I'm going to talk about the game that I'm running. So I'm pipelining like a month before I get there. So what that means is I'm on the dating apps, change my location to Buenos Aires like a month ahead of time, and start to try to get some matches and get some conversations going with people so that when I get there, I already have people that are waiting for me. I already got some connections lined up. That's going to be crucial for you if you're only staying for like a week or two, because as I'll explain later on, things don't really move as quickly in Argentina as they do in places like Colombia or Brazil or Peru. So the whole step-by-step, word-for-word breakdown of everything that I'm saying to these girls, once I match with them to get them interested, I got that on my Patreon. It's literally a whole tutorial. It's like 40 minutes. So you can go there if you want all the details about how I'm pipelining, but I'm going to share some sauce for free. So first, I'm running the trifecta of dating apps. So the trifecta, that's Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. Now I'm going to tell you straight up, Hinge, not really that good in Argentina or really in most countries outside of the United States. If you're on Hinge, you're pretty much going to find American girls that are traveling or other foreign girls that are traveling that just have their Hinge profile still up. Or you'll find some Argentine girls that made the profiles when they were traveling to like America or something like that. But it's really not going to be just local girls that only have like a local perspective. If you do find a girl on Hinge that's Argentine, she'll probably have already been to America, and you're not going to have like the same wow factor that you might have with other chicks. Especially if you find one that's never dated an American before or a Black guy. Bumble works pretty well. Bumble's something I could recommend using Bumble. It's a lot better than Hinge. There are Argentine girls there, a lot of them. Like I didn't run out of people to swipe on. The only one of these apps that I actually have a subscription for is Tinder. That's the main one that I use. There's a lot of girls on there, and that's what I would recommend using first. If you're going to pay for any of these apps to use in Argentina, I would recommend it being Tinder. All right, so outside of using the dating apps to meet girls, I'm also using my Instagram. I'm trying to optimize my social media reach. Now, I'm doing that by every time I go to like one of these nicer restaurants, or if I go to a club or any well-known established business out there, I'm posting something from there and I'm tagging the business on Instagram. So what that does, if you're halfway decent at taking pictures, and even sometimes if not, just the fact that you're sharing their stuff, they'll share you on their profile. And a lot of these businesses have like thousands, 100,000, 200,000 followers in the city that are mainly all local Argentine people. So like if I go to a nice restaurant, I take a picture of my plate, I put some little music in the background, and I tag the restaurant. Now, more often than not, that restaurant will share my post, and then I will be seen by thousands of people that are in Argentina. Like I can see on my profile that I'm getting a lot more engagement when I do this. So it's like free publicity. And I've actually had girls follow me off of just that. So do that for the restaurants, do that for the clubs. Anything that has a social media profile that's built up, that has like several thousand followers, if you go there, you might as well just tag it. Like outside of the online dating thing, I've also been hitting the clubs on the weekends, seeing what I can pull out the clubs too. So I work during the day, like until about 6 p.m. So day game is not really that much of an option for me. Like I'm not gonna just be walking around the streets during the day trying to like pick up women. Like you could probably do that, but just how my schedule's set up, not really ideal for me. So these are the things that I've been doing. to meet women here in Argentina. Now, as far as whenever I do talk to them and I offer to take them on a date, I'm pretty much offering to take them out to dinner like every time. That's the go-to. It's let's go out to eat. It's low pressure, it's in a public setting, and it gives me the opportunity to come off as a gentleman. So I know a lot of dudes are gonna be like, any girl will go out there for a free dinner with you. And the dudes that say that, I guarantee you don't get coochie on the regular. You don't consistently date women, or you're a penny pincher. One of the two. But it doesn't have to be like a super nice restaurant. One of the good things about the girls out here in Argentina, I really haven't found many of them that have been like totally motivated by money or like status like a lot of the other ones are. So now that I've told you about how I have found the women, I'm gonna tell you about how the women are out here. So there's pros and cons, just like with everything else. First, I'm gonna start with the pros. So the pros are that none of these women have asked me for money. So a lot of times when you're traveling as an American or as a Western guy and you go to a country that has a not so great economy or is in South America or any place with a weaker economy than where you're from, a lot of the women, or at least some of the women, will ask for money, try to get some money out of you, something along those lines. None of these Argentine girls have done that. The worst that I've had happen was one girl who, she somehow found me on Instagram and she looked good. We talked for a little bit and I tried to get her out on a date. This was a weekend, so she was telling me about some party that was going on. And it was like a rave type event where you had to buy tickets to get in. And she pretty much was trying to get me to buy tickets for her and one of her friends to go there. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'd rather just meet you alone because it's too easy to get used if you do something like that. Like, if I was to bring her and her friend could be having the time of their life, talking to each other, and they're fast Spanish. I'm not understanding anything, and they got what they wanted already by going to the party. And in a place like that where it's all loud, you don't really get to know somebody. So that's not a good place for a first date, to be honest. So that was really the only, one other thing. So it was two. There was the girl that wanted me to take her friend to that party. And then there was another girl. So this was a profile that I saw on Bumble. And the crazy thing is one of the American dudes that I met while I'm out here in Argentina, he said he saw the same profile and they tried the same shit with him. So it was a profile that showed 3 girls and they all looked good. And they was like, we want to go on a date and we want you to take us here. So I pretty much, when I get into these conversations with these girls, I'm only saying a couple things before I invite them on a date. I'm not trying to sit there and chit chat all week and then get them on a date. So when I offered the date, they was like, where are you trying to go? I said, somewhere in Palermo. They said, Palermo's dangerous. I'm like, what are you talking about? Palermo's like the tourist spot in the city. It's probably the least dangerous spot in the city. And they were like, we want to go here. And they sent me some new restaurant in Puerto Madero, which is like the rich area of town. And it was like some expensive ass restaurant. I was like, yeah, I'm not the one. I considered it for a moment because I'm making videos out here. So I was like, well, if I'm paying for dinner for 3 different girls at a nice spot, there's no way I'm getting cheeks because all these girls are going to be protecting the other one from actually like building a connection with me or going home with me. So obviously like that's just not going to work in my favor, but it could be good content. Me and 3 girls could be a good time. I told them, look, the only way I'm doing that is if all y'all are cool with being on my YouTube channel. She was all like, I don't know. And I was just like, all right, bye. So those were the 2 times that I experienced women trying to use me for money. Other good thing about the Argentine women that I found, that there's really not many that are pros, like, and by that I mean selling themselves, or like the OnlyFans girls. Like, I haven't ran into that like on Tinder. Like, if I was in Colombia, like half the matches are going to be trying to sell me coochie or in some type of sex work. So that wasn't really a big thing out here. So that was refreshing because I'm not out here trying to pay for that. I'll pay for dinner, I'll pay for an experience, but I'm not having a transactional relationship with any women out here. Another thing is they're very transparent about what they want. So what I mean by that is they'll pretty much ask like, how long are you going to be here? And I'll tell them like, I'm here for 3 more weeks, or I'm here for a month or whatever. And based on that, they're not gonna like try to pretend like we're gonna be together for the rest of our lives. They're like, okay, you're here for a month. Either I'm cool with having this little short-term thing going on, or I'm not. And in a lot of places, women aren't really that open to the short-term shit. Like a lot of times, you'll have to play like you really want something serious with them just to get some coochie. And yeah, it's not the most ethical thing to do, but hey, having a roster, being a player, it's not really the most ethical thing to do either. But that's how we live in. So yeah, didn't have to do too much of that in Argentina. So another good thing is that they show interest, and they also, as a black man, will fetishize you. So there's not that many black people in Argentina that are like actually Argentinians, and even tourists, there's not that many either. So if you're a black man and you're out here, you're one of maybe every 300, 400 people you see will be a black person. Like I went weeks without seeing black people. So you do have an advantage for if a woman out there has a thing for black men, like, and she sees you, she's gonna jump on that shit. Also, like in the clubs, I did get approached sometimes, like not all the time, but there were girls that came up to me and like started conversations. One that stood out, so this goes back to the fetishizing thing. This girl literally told me, like the first thing she said to me, she was like, "Your skin color is like a fetish." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, have you ever been with a black guy before?" She was like, "Nope." I was like, "Cool, cool." Now, if I didn't already have as much shit going on as I did, I could have cracked. But she was okay. She was kind of mid, to be honest. So I wasn't really stressed to crack. So I just got her Instagram, and to this day, she still messages me talking about, when you coming back to Argentina? I wish we would have spent time together. But yeah, I wasn't really tripping over that. But the point is that my skin color alone was a fetish to her, and probably other girls out there as well. So you're a rare breed out here if you're a black man. Another good thing about the women in Argentina is that the majority of them are in good shape. So there's not that many fat girls. Like if you're from America, there are a lot of fat women. And there's not too many out here in Argentina. But there's also not too many like thick girls either. So like the body type here is kind of like swimsuit model type shit, which is still cool. So that's something that if you like, there's plenty of that here. All right, so now let's get into the cons of dating Argentina girls. So the first thing is the flakiness. Now, this is something that I heard about before I got here. Like the majority of dating videos in Argentina, they mention that the girls here are flaky. To me, what flaky means is that if I set a date with her, when that day comes, she'll find some excuse to cancel or just ghost. In Argentina, it's a little different. Like, I didn't really get to the point where she would flake on me like the day of the date. It would kind of be like we're texting the first day, it's cool, like we're finding shit to talk about. Like, for example, there was a girl we were texting, conversation was good. She was like asking me about music I like. I'm sending her songs. She was actually listening to them. She was vibing. We set up the date, and then like a couple days later, she just doesn't text back. And then it's like, okay, so a couple days later, I follow up with her, hit her up again, no response. And this happens several times. It's like things are going good at first, and then for some reason, something happens and they just like cut you off. And I labeled this the Argentine disappearing act because it happens so many times. It was different than how it usually would happen, like I explained before. Usually it's like there'd be a reason, or there'd be like, I don't know, it just seemed like out of nowhere. It'd be mid-conversation, like, girl asked me, how's my day going? Like, it's going good, how about yours? She tells me how her day is going. Like, shit, you got plans for the weekend? She'll either respond or not respond. And if she responds, she'll not respond to the next message after that. It's like, and then after that, when you hit her up, she'll pretty much stop responding like you never talked to her before. So I guess they just lose interest quicker than most girls. I don't know. But that was a thing that I kept running into, and it was a little frustrating. The other con about dating in Argentina was the time that it takes to get these girls on a date. So like, if I'm in Colombia, if I'm in Peru, or in most countries that I've been to really, I only send like a couple messages. I'll send like 2, 3, maybe 4 messages before I bring up a date. So the girls out here, like, you really gotta warm them up before they're comfortable going on a date with you. I think that the majority of people that the dating out here is usually people meeting through friend groups or mutual friends, work partners, like you knowing somebody that the other person knows and then them linking you up, or at least her being able to trust you a little more because you know some of the same people. But if you're a foreigner out here and you don't know anybody, you don't have that opportunity. So I guess these girls were kind of skeptical. Like, I don't know, but it did take a lot more effort to get these girls on a date than it does in most other countries in Latin America. And that was honestly one of the main things that I didn't like. Like, I don't like to text all that much before meeting because it's just kind of a waste of time and energy. Like, I'd rather use that conversation in person. But yeah, I found myself having to text more than I wanted to. And so, like, that's why if you're here for only a week or two, that pipelining, setting shit up ahead of time is crucial. Because if you get here and then you try to start talking to girls, you're going to have to go through that texting stage. And that can take up most of your time if you're here for a short period of time. That was probably the main con of being here in Argentina and dating these girls. So, with the time that it takes to get them on a date, plus the flakiness, I would say dating in Argentina is not as easy as it is in most other countries in Latin America. So, my experience in Latin America is I've been to Dominican Republic, I've been to Colombia, I've been to Brazil, I've been to Peru. Those are the countries that I've been to in South America that I've dated in, and it was way easier to get those girls on a date. I still got like a lot of matches on the dating apps, but I got more in those other countries, I'd say. I wouldn't really recommend Argentina for dating if you're like a red pill guy or if you want to have a roster. If you're here just to find one girl and you're willing to take the time to get to know her before you go out and meet her and then hang out with her and just her, then yeah, maybe it's good for that. But if you want to have a roster, you want to have multiple girls, you're going to have to put in a lot of work, and a lot of those girls are going to end up wasting your time because they'll end up stop texting you at a random point in your conversation, or they'll just take forever to hang out. So yeah, you'll have a lot easier time in some other countries. Like, as far as like the passport bros, like a lot of the reason that these dudes travel to other countries is because they might be struggling to date in America. So if that's the case with you, if you're struggling to date in America, you'll probably struggle to date here, because there's really not that much of a difference between like dating in America and dating here, because it still takes kind of a while to get the girls in America on a date sometimes not, but it really depends. But once you do get the girls out here on a date, things do change. Like, once they meet you that first time, every time I went on the first date with a girl, she became a lot more available after that. She would pull up on me short notice and like just be willing to just come to the crib. So once you get over the hump of having to text her for a week or however long, it does get easier. If you're trying to have a whole roster, like I said, this is really not the easiest place to do that. Like, these girls were not really that impressed by status or like money or being an American. Like, that goes a long way in a lot of places. It doesn't go as far in Argentina. Like, of course, all that stuff helps, but not as much here in Buenos Aires. I think it stems from like Argentinians, they're very proud to be Argentinian. Like, when I usually meet a girl from one of these poorer countries, they usually have ambitions to travel somewhere else, to live in a different place. And most of the Argentinians that I met, they aren't like that. Like, they like being Argentinian, they like living here, and they don't really have dreams to go live in America or anything like that. Like, they'll want to visit some other places, but they're happy with being in Argentina, amongst Argentines, and dating Argentine men. So, like, yeah, it's kind of like a nationalism, I'd say. But not really in a bad way. Like, they have every right to like their people, but it just doesn't benefit the passport bros as much. Now, when I was out there, I did find one girl that stood out over the rest. If I wasn't here for the sole purpose of making content, I probably would have just stuck with her. But this shit is bigger than me. So I had to do it for the bros. I had to lay out these blueprints to let people know how it really is. So I still kept shooting my shot, kept swiping, and kept meeting more girls just so I could have more experiences that I could eventually share with you guys. This ain't just for me. This is for the brothers that's gonna come after me. I know personally, before I ever traveled, I would be watching YouTube videos. I would be typing in black in this country or black man in this country, trying to find other people that were like me and find out what their experiences were. And there was a dude, because before I ever traveled, I was real interested in Russia. There was a dude who was in Russia. His name was Filko or Filechko. He was out there teaching English, just teaching English slang to Russians, and he was like getting kind of famous out there. He would post videos with girls that were fine. Like if they was in America, they would be like probably dating athletes and shit. But he was just a regular dude and he was with all these girls, and I'm like, yo, how did he do that? Like I was inspired, and I eventually went to Russia, had the same experience. So I know that like there's probably people out there that are interested in going to Argentina, and I was like, hey, this girl's a vibe, but there's gonna be people after me that are gonna wanna know what it's like. So I need more experiences that I can share. So hopefully somebody out there that's watching this video is gonna be inspired or at least get some knowledge on something that they were curious about. If you're a black man, you wanna come to Argentina, I wouldn't say not to go. I would just say, be prepared, make sure you line shit up ahead of time, and just know it's not gonna be super easy. Like, you're gonna have to take your time with the shit. Now, ultimately, I was there for 26 days. I went out with 9 different girls. Now, that does kind of sound like a lot on paper, because that's like a different girl every 3 days. I'm not saying I cracked all of them, but like I just went out with that many different girls. But the amount of effort that I put in to go out with those 9 girls, and the amount of conversations that I had to have with a whole bunch of other girls that didn't end up panning out, I would say not really worth it. Like, if you are coming here because you're just interested in the culture, or there's like some landmarks you want to see, come here for that. Don't come here just because you want to date Argentine women, because it's not going to be that easy unless you got like at least a month to stay. I think most dudes would have gotten frustrated going through this shit that I had to go through to go on the dates with those 9 girls, and probably would have just gave up and stuck with one. So yeah, I'd say dating in Argentina, 1 out of 10. I probably have to give it like a 5, to be honest with you. Like, considering in Peru, I could be on 2 dates a day for a month straight, probably 3 if I actually tried. In Colombia, probably similar, but I'd have to worry about which one of those girls is gonna try to drug and rob me. All the other places I've been to in Latin America were a lot easier. So because of that, I'd say don't come here specifically for dating. If you have experiences, if you have any questions that I didn't go over, leave a comment, like, subscribe, go on the Patreon. If you're an Argentine that's mad that I'm talking about dating in Argentina, fuck yourself. Hopefully this helps somebody out there. Stay tuned for the next video. Peace.